What is the biggest Muslim country in the world? A country many thousands of kilometers from Mecca, Indonesia. Of 200 million Indonesians, approximately 87% are Muslim, mainly Sunni. There are numerous other groups, a few with a vociferous fundamentalist bent, though a tolerant Islam based on Javan traditions dominates. A saying that has become widespread claims that Indonesia presents Islam's smiling face. Though the world's biggest Muslim country, Indonesia has not become an Islamic state. It remains an experiment of peaceful coexistence of various religions, reflected in the country's motto, unity in diversity. This is not, however, a laic country. Faith in God, reflected in the country's 6 official religions, Buddhism, Hinduism, Confucianism, Catholicism, Protestantism and Islam, is reflected in the nation's constitution. Christians from various denominations make up about 12% of Indonesia's population. 3%, 7 million Indonesians admit to being Catholic. The circumstances of Christians, however, vary considerably from region to region, depending on which of the 17,000 islands they inhabit. In this film, we will visit 2 islands: the phenomenon of the uniquely Catholic island of Flores, with its overwhelming seminaries, and Java, with its often uneasy Christian-Muslim relationship, which all at once provides hope that an open dialogue can lead to a peaceful coexistence between the communities.
Jadi bertumbuh dari hal yang sederhana.
It all began with little things. For example, when I was little, I often saw a priest celebrating the Eucharist, which always aroused my curiosity. My motivation to become a priest slowly matured. I want to serve people, not without aim, but to bring them closer to God. In a world that is seemingly ever keener not to believe in God, that claims God to be dead or non-existent, I can at least tell people that God really does exist and that He continues to love them.
Mario Francisco is one of several hundred seminarians preparing for the priesthood on Flores, part of Indonesia's Lesser Sunda Islands archipelago, one in a chain of volcanoes that make up the Pacific Ring of Fire. With the population of just under 2 million, Flores is the only Catholic island in Indonesia. What makes Flores so unique?
Flores menjadi pulau Katolik karena yang
In my view, Flores became a Catholic island because the first to come to this island were the Portuguese.
Sebagai pedagang,
they came here as traders
mencari rempah-rempah
to do business.
Lebih dulu daripada
earlier than Muslims or any Protestant faction. They were already here in the 14th century. They talked about their faith. They taught people the sign of the cross, translated the catechism into the local language, and consequently young people let themselves be inspired.
It is interesting when we see
the Church's rapid development on this island is interesting. It all began because our culture was and remains open to the teachings of Jesus Christ. In our culture, we believe in one God. His name is Mori Krain, which means Almighty God. Secondly, this came about thanks to the astuteness of the missionaries, because from the very beginning, though above all in the 19th century, the Society of the Divine Word Fathers educated the local inhabitants by setting up seminaries for boys and seminaries for priests. Thirdly, the missionaries did not begin their work with typically missionary undertakings, but with charitable deeds, education, schools, hospitals. And so the people of Flores realized that these were good people. Why were they so? Perhaps thanks to their faith. We also want to share their beliefs.
Today, the Diocese of Ruteng, one of 4 on the island, runs over 50 male and female congregations alone. The witness to the faith of the priests and sisters that work here encourages others to choose the religious life. Father Richard has been a priest for 10 years. He works in one of the poor villages of the Manggarai region. The majority of his parishioners are farmers who grow rice on the terraced paddy fields, dependent on the seasonal rains. Whole families work in the fields. Not all the children attend school. What persuaded Father Richard to follow the voice of his calling?
I believe that God called me when I was still in primary school. When I was still little. At that time, Joseph van Hoof, who came from Holland, became our parish priest. He got on very well with the children. I had a feeling that by becoming a priest, I would be able to work for many people. But not only that, that I would endeavor to pass on the love of Jesus that I had experienced in my life to other people.
Cinta Yesus yang saya alami dalam kehidupan saya kepada orang-orang lain. Berkeluarga. Oke. Untuk saya orang-orang muda,
as far as I'm concerned, young people can become whoever they want. Most important, that they should entrust their lives to God. Thank God, up to now, many people still continue to want to become priests and nuns.
Pastor atau jadi suster.
Itu sangat tertarik dengan gaya hidup.
They are very interested in a priest's life. Earlier on in a missionary's life, in people who work for free, travel to isolated parts of the island, where they have to confront numerous obstacles, and yet fulfill Jesus' calling with love. That's why so many of Flores' inhabitants want to work in the Lord's vineyard.
Father Yanto, a Carmelite, runs a propedeutic seminary. Boys unable to attend the minor seminary are prepared here to later pursue higher education studies. Students come here from Flores, as well as Timor, Java, Kalimantan and Papua. After a year's preparation, they can choose to go to a diocesan seminary or enter a monastic order. However, both seminary and seminarian suffers from the same malaise, an acute lack of funding.
St. Paul's Seminary is 25 years old. The basic construction material was bamboo. The seminary is very modest.
Atapnya
There are
sudah
problems with
berlubang,
holes in the roof.
dindingnya sudah mulai rusak,
The walls are beginning to
apalagi
fall
pada musim
apart.
hujan seperti
And
ini.
what with the rainy
Air
season
hujan
like
masuk
now,
ke dalam kamar para
the
seminaris,
water pours
sehingga
into the
banyak para
seminarians'
seminaris kami
rooms,
jatuh sakit.
with many
Dan
ending
pada
up
saat
ill.
ini saya sangat
I most
membutuhkan
urgently
bantuan
need help from the
dari
Universal
Gereja
Church
Universal
to rebuild the
untuk
dormitory,
membantu kami, terutama
the
untuk membangun
alumni
kembali
hall,
dormitory,
and the dining
asrama, dan kamar makan kami
all are presently in
yang pada
very
saat
bad
ini sudah
condition.
sangat parah.
In the centre of the island, near the city of Embora, stands the major seminary. The citizens of Flores take pride in pointing out that this is the largest complex of seminaries in the world. St. Paul's Seminary of Ledalero, run by the Society of the Divine World Fathers, was founded in 1937 by 3 Danish missionaries. Nearly 2,000 priests have since passed through its walls, 17 of which have become bishops. Almost 900 seminarians from Flores' diocese and different congregations are presently studying here.
In Indonesia, especially in Flores, right now the vocation is growing. The numbers of seminarians are increasing, and when we look for the background, we can find that the Florenese is very religious. And then the parents, the family, they like to send their children to the church, to the seminary. The church in Indonesia is a growing church. The number of Catholics are increasing because people are looking for the peaceful life, the spiritual needs. And they find that in the Catholic Church, their needs can be fulfilled.
Kirche in Indonesian Hilfebrau von den Universalkirche.
The Indonesian Church needs help from the Universal Church. We need not only financial help, but also spiritual. We are a minority here in Indonesia. We Catholics make up a mere 3% of the whole country's population, which sometimes makes us feel like a tiny flock. Yet we are a part of the Universal Church. We feel united through prayer, which gives us a feeling of unity and strength.
The invitation to follow the road of a vocation in Flores is clearly falling on fertile ground. What vision does Mario Francisco have of an ideal cleric as he prepares for the priesthood?
Seorang imam yang baik, kalau menurut saya yang
A good
pertama
priest is first and foremost a priest who has a close, intimate relation with God. But he should also be able to translate that which comes from his prayerful life into the everyday service towards his fellow human being, especially towards the poor, the small, the marginalized. If we follow Jesus, he tells us, you must serve your fellow human being. Jesus did not call people uniquely to prayer, but also to serve, and then to become involved, to live and understand people's suffering. That, in my view, is what makes a good priest.
Seorang imam yang baik.
I love him, I love him, I love him, and where he goes I follow, I follow, I follow. You always be my true love, my true love, my true love, for now until forever, forever, forever. Keep me away, away from his love. I love him.
Our religion teach us that we should be able to live together among others, among the people in the world, because our God, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, created us. Ya ayyuhan nas. Okay. Ya ayyuhan nas. Inna khalaqnakum min dzakarin wa unsa wa ja'alnakum syu'uban wa qabaila lita'arafu. What is the purpose? The purpose is lita'arafu. Lita'arafu, it means to know each other, understand each other. Also, we have to respect each other among the people with the differences. Although they are Muslim or not Muslim, they are Catholic, they Hindus, they Buddhists, they Protestant, they still the creation of our God.
Mr. Marsudi is a leading member of Nahdlatul Ulama, one of the largest socio-religious Muslim organizations on earth, with an estimated membership of from 50 to 70 million followers. Together with Muhammadiyah, the second comparable Indonesian organization in size, they represent an example of a more open and tolerant face of Islam.
Islam di Indonesia,
Islam in Indonesia, whose believers make up 90% of the population, developed within a cultural dialectics up to the times of animism, dynamism, Hinduism, and Buddhism. Islam on the archipelago has blended in with the local culture and local wisdom without upsetting the existing ancient rituals, such as the Buddhist Borobudur temple, that survives well preserved to this day. Indonesia's Muslims coexist with people of different faiths, willingly integrate culturally, and remain wholly accepting of local culture and local wisdom.
Indonesia has for centuries been inhabited by people of various faiths, including groups that have grown within Islam. In recent years, the country has experienced serious democratic changes, evidence of which includes the election of a Christian and representative of the Chinese minority as governor of Jakarta.
Keadaan Gereja Katolik di Indonesia,
the situation of the Catholic Church in Indonesia is basically good. It cannot be compared to countries where wars and bombs, etc., are reported to occur every day. It does not happen here. In general, we can worship freely. There are difficulties, only in certain places. In the province of Aceh, there is only one Catholic church, and several stations, and even they can never worship comfortably. So, in certain places, with a majority intolerant Muslim population, the Catholic Church cannot flourish in numbers. But with regard to constancy of faith, I think that they surely remain firm as Christ's disciples. Whereas, for example, in Yogyakarta, a part of the island of Java, freedom of religion was proclaimed by the Sultan as early as 1914. Here the culture is very open and tolerant, so that the Catholic Church in the Archdiocese of Yogyakarta and Semarang has been in general flourishing in many ways.
Subur dalam arti banyak hal.
Obtaining planning permission to build a church numbers among the most problematic issues for Christians. More often than not, it is not the opposition of Muslim neighbours that is the problem, rather the aggressive protests of radical groups from different parts of the country, though above all else, the never-ending formal bureaucratic obstacles perpetuated by local authorities. In the instance of West Java, an application can on average take from 10 to 15 years to process. The parish of Kampung Sava received all the necessary permissions to commence construction of St. Stanislav Kostas Church, including consent from their Muslim neighbours, only to have the permit revoked by the court following protests from fundamentalist groups brought in from other regions of the country.
Last time they came here with 6 buses from Bandung, came here. It's nearly 200 kilometers. They just came here to protest. Well, they shout that this is illegal. Sometimes they say that we are the infidels. We should not be here. We hurt them as the Muslim because of the church. They denied our very existence to be here. They asked the local government to cancel the permission they have given us. And now we lose in the court. The continuation of the building must be stopped right now. When we lose in the higher courts, then we lose everything.
Despite the difficulties, tension and fears that a church 3/4 built might be demolished, Father Jacobus and Mr. Anton talk about the many instances of cooperation with Muslims and mutual neighbourly help. Local Muslims are equally afraid of the fundamentalists.
Our legal representative in the court, 5 of the Muslim, 2 Catholics, 2 Protestant. The member of Nahdlatul Ulama, they came to us, they offer some help to us. Last time they sent us around 40 people with all their dress and attribute and uniforms. We put them in front and we are behind them. We have to help one another. They are also building a new mosque now. We bought for them a piece of land aside the mosque, and we paid for them also the bathroom to wash their hand and face before the prayer in the mosque.
They are still our brothers, our sisters, they are our friends. We just hope that one day this will get better. We do not hate them or something like that.
Orang-orang Muslim yang moderat,
moderate Muslims in general do not have any objection to the establishment of churches.
Untuk mendirikan gereja, usaha sekuat mungkin untuk menolak.
The ideology of the state, Pancasila, upholds freedom of religion. There are some people in this country who actually do not accept Pancasila.
Yang sebetulnya tidak menerima Pancasila.
Because Indonesia is open country for all, they can join and come to Indonesia, and then they build a mosque here, and sometime, and now also they build the school, and they teach them as they want like this, and also their follower increase. We cannot stop them. We just educate the people. If you join them, you will become as they are. If you join us, you will become like us. We can live together among others.
Dialog menjadi penting.
Dialogue is becoming ever more important, seeing that the conflicts to date have more often than not been political and not religious. We endeavor to discover religious means that promote peace, love, and respect for others. Because if we want to honor God, we must also learn to honor His creation. Theological and ritual issues are every believer's private concern. I hope that such a model of Islam might become prevalent among all Muslims.
Tidak mengherankan bahwa di Indonesia ini
It is not surprising that in Indonesia,
orang tuanya Muslim,
there are some families with Muslim
anaknya
parents
ikut Muslim, satu,
who have Muslim
yang
and
lain
Catholic
Katolik.
children,
Dalam satu keluarga.
and they live together
Mereka
harmoniously.
hidup baik-baik saja di dalam keluarga itu. Sosial yang
Social
umum
observers
di
in
Indonesia
Indonesia have commonly warned
mereka
that the
memberi
development of
lampu-
Indonesia in the future will be
tanda
increasingly
lampu kuning.
Islamist.
Awas perkembangan Indonesia nanti
Hopefully,
akan
that does
menjadi
not mean
semakin
fundamentalist Islam, but the
Moga-moga
moderate variety.
tidak
I have no
Islam yang
problem with the latter.
fundamentalis, tetapi Islam yang moderat. Kalau itu tidak apa-apa.